Filet mignon, the king of the steak world. Today we're gonna have that with a side of fresh salad, as well as a very quick sauce called Juliet. So Juliet is basically a much quicker substitute for the classic demi-glace. So let me show you how. All right, so I'm gonna start with the very, very popular and famous compound butter, beurre maître d'hôtel. I'm gonna put this butter on a double boiler because when you melt it this way, the melted butter comes out a lot smoother. And if it gets too hot, you can always take it off the heat. So we're gonna whisk it until the butter is completely soft. You don't want any little clumps or anything in there. Okay, perfect. So what I'm gonna do now is to add a little bit of lemon. Okay, just a squeeze. You don't want to add too much, otherwise it's gonna become yogurt. Add my parsley, a little bit of salt, bring it all together and then just mix it. You can taste it, of course, with salt and lemon. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it in saran wrap now. So here I have a nice, beautiful saran wrap. Just place this here on the wrap. So I'm gonna kind of just roll this over like this. Just make it kind of tight here. So I'm gonna make sure it's very, very tight. So I'm just gonna kind of roll it, go like that. Okay, see? That's it. I'm just gonna put it in the fridge. Here I have a very beautiful filet mignon. As you can see, I've actually tied it around because what happens is that this meat is so soft that it's really, really tender that the minute you put it, the minute you start cooking it, it will just kind of fall apart. So I highly recommend that you tie it around. And if you have a thicker one, doesn't matter, you can just tie it twice. So I like to add the oil to the steak directly instead of adding it to the pan, a little bit more, and make sure you get the sides as well. Season very, very generously with salt, very, very, very generously. So it gives you that beautiful crust. And make sure to get the sides as well. Pepper. Season the sides. Now we're ready to cook this. I have this stainless steel pan on high heat, and I'm gonna wait for it to get scorching hot. I want it to be absolutely hot. Even if it smokes a little bit, that's a good sign, believe me. Okay, my pan is absolutely hot, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the steak down. And you wanna hear that sizzling sound, okay? All right, so I'm gonna let that sear for about 2 minutes. I'm gonna make sure it keeps the shape, so I usually put my fingers around it. Here's the big question, how can you tell the doneness, right? With filet mignon, it's a little bit different because the cut is it's way too tender. So what you want to do, you want to kind of establish that baseline. So the way I do it is when it's still rare, right after I get a nice crust, but I know it's still rare, I touch the steak to see what rare feels like. So right now it's obviously rare. As you can see, it's super soft. When you feel a little bit of resistance, it's usually medium rare. Actually, I like it well done. Most people say well done is 170 degrees. For me, that is overcooked. So well done, actually, I think is 165. So, which is one reason why I like well done. It's actually super juicy. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the oven, but before I do that, I'm gonna put a knob of butter, okay? I've already lowered the heat. I'm gonna go ahead and put rosemary, and I'm gonna put these cloves of garlic that I have already crushed. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the oven at 375 degrees. If you want it medium rare, put it for about 7 minutes. Well, I'm gonna do it medium well, so I'm gonna leave it for about 10 to 12 minutes, okay? I kind of want to show you guys the different stages. So as you can see, it has a little bit of resistance and it bounces back. So that means that at least in the center, it's medium rare right now. So I'm gonna cook it for another 3 to even 5 minutes before I take it out, okay? All right, so I've had the steak here for a total of about 12 minutes. So let's take a look. Of course, we I checked it twice already, so I'm just gonna take a look. Should be ready. Yep. So as you can see, again, it's probably medium. So I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna let it rest for at least 10 minutes. It's gonna continue to cook. All right, now comes the exciting part, the sauce. First, the glaze with half a cup of white wine, actually a little bit less than half a cup. I don't want any of this wine in my sauce in reality, so I'm gonna reduce it au sec, so there'll be nothing left. All I'm doing is deglazing, and I basically want to get rid of all the flavor that's at the bottom. I personally don't recommend using red wine or even cognac or whiskey or brandy. I personally think white wine works best. It has the least flavor, so it's the best. I'm gonna go ahead and add the stock. All right, wow, look at that. That's very, very, very beautiful, thick homemade stock. Oh my goodness. This is practically demi-glace. You can use any kind of brown stock. Could be brown beef stock or brown chicken stock. But the real Juliet or the real demi-glace is always made with veal stock, which is just the best. Now I'm gonna go ahead and reduce this by half. Here I have a slurry of starch and water. I'm gonna add a little bit of it to make it thicker, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and taste the sauce. I'm mainly looking for salt and acidity. That's what I'm looking for mostly when I taste it. Definitely needs a little more salt, for sure, and definitely need a little more acidity, so I'm gonna add a squeeze of lemon juice at the end. All right, so now it's coating the back of the spoon really, really well. I'm gonna go ahead and finish it with a knob of butter, as usual. Don't wanna come out. And the butter will actually thicken the sauce a little bit more, and it will give it a beautiful shine. I kind of like swirl the pan around, because usually if you start whisking it or stirring in the butter into the sauce rather, it could make the sauce a little bit cloudy. Finish the sauce with a squeeze of lemon juice. Not too much, you don't want it to be too acidic. Beautiful and thick that is, oh my goodness. Nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and strain the sauce. Wow. And don't forget to squeeze these beautiful garlics. Okay. Look at that. All right. Okay. All right, we're finally ready to eat. So let me get the steak first. One here, one here. Kind of, sort of, kind of randomly put these around. Yeah, so I'm actually gonna like maybe put one. Just a little bit of finishing salt. Nice. So this is the compound butter that we made earlier. Well, as I said, that was not complicated at all. I hope you learned something interesting, and most importantly, I hope you had fun. See you next time.